Hey, what's going on YouTube? Joe here from Metafish. So check out this aquarium. This is going to be a tour of our Georgia aquarium visit 2019. We were actually there, to be exact, May 17th, which was a Friday. So what you're going to see throughout the day is your average Friday traffic, which I assume is more than Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but probably not as bad as it would get on a Saturday. So just check out this exhibit. They have multiple whale sharks, full-size whale sharks, swimming around this amazing multi-million-dollar aquarium. Giant manta rays. This was by far one of the most impressive exhibits. Although everything they had was just immaculate, and I was blown away by multiple freshwater exhibits and saltwater exhibits. So I'm going to go through this, try to explain a little bit, and try not to talk too much so you can actually enjoy the fish and what you're seeing for this Georgia aquarium. But I highly recommend, if you have any opportunity to do so, go see this for yourself. My kids had an amazing time, and it's not just the fish and what you see here. They also have, or at least the way it worked last year, was you could purchase your admission tickets. They would let you in to the aquarium, and then they have different events, just like a zoo. You can feed this and feed that, but this is mostly different shows that they have. They had a penguin trot, and my son's favorite animal is a penguin, so he had to see the penguins, and you'll see more of that later in the video. And they also had a sea lion and dolphin show, and those were just very impressive, amazingly well done. The trainers are just so talented. But those shows were camera free, so I couldn't record any of the footage for those shows. But I recommend you go and see that if you ever have the opportunity. It was really amazing. So you can see just the kids, how perplexed they are at what they're seeing. And I do apologize for my kids and all the other kids you see touching the glass, tapping on the glass. It didn't seem to affect any of the fish in these aquariums, the tapping, but from a aquarium hobbyist standpoint, you just kind of cringe when you see kids doing that. And I yelled at my kids quite a bit, but it didn't really seem to matter, because then you look next to you and there's another kid just banging on the glass. So we walked into the aquarium and we took a left, and we were just ready to see some stuff. And the first thing we did was go into the saltwater exhibit. So you can see here there was some jellyfish tanks, and right here is their main saltwater display tank. Just amazing. The glass curves all the way up to the ceiling, and they have big rushes of water that'll come down. I don't think I got any of that on footage, but they just release a large amount of water to highly oxygenate this. And there's 2 scuba divers there cleaning the tanks. I wish I would have got more footage, because this saltwater reef tank was super impressive. But also they have a lot of smaller tanks in the saltwater area here. Right there was some seahorses, and then right next to them was this moray eel. Super cool. And then they had, of course, your standard Nemo and Dory tank. It was really beautiful with the sea anemones just waving around everywhere. They had the flow just dialed in perfect for this tank, and it was really enjoyable. And there's another short video of that moray eel. He was really cool. So this is the common room. This is where you would branch off to see all your different exhibits. The size of this place is very massive. I'm sure they wish they had even more room to have more exhibits, but very massive. You can branch off to go see whatever you're interested in. And I believe this is the seahorse tank here as well. Nothing too fancy, but right here are the sea lions. That I believe these are the same sea lions that they have for their show that we got to see later. Very smart animals, just getting their exercise, playing, swimming back and forth. And the kids absolutely loved this. They sat here and watched the sea lions swimming back and forth, and they would actually push off the rocks, just like Michael Phelps swimming, do a back turn and then push off the rocks to get momentum. And just really neat. Very talented animals, extremely smart animals. I thought the sea lion show was just top notch. They had us laughing. It was a smaller show than the dolphin show, so you could be up closer to it. So right here, they also have some different things where you can take a picture of yourself and turn yourself into a sea lion with different accessories, different facial features. So my son enjoyed that. And right here, this is us walking into the freshwater area. And River Scout is their main freshwater area where they have lots of different aquariums of different types of fish from different geographies. So you can see a puffer fish there, and they had a giant school of what I believe are neon tetras. They could have been cardinal tetras, and just amazing plants here. So this aquarium itself went all the way up to the ceiling above your head, and they got lily pads there. Looks like Java fern. Just really beautiful tank. And I can't name all the different fish in here. I'm not really versed on a lot of the fish that are in this tank, but it was really nice. So over here they have this is a Lake Tanganyikan display tank, and I thought this was just super cool. I couldn't believe the size and scale of this. No huge fish in here, but they had you can just see frontosas, some different Burchardi, Cyprichromis, a ton of Lulupi. So I imagine all those Lulupi you see, those are like full-grown adults. So what I'm focusing on here is just a guy scuba diving, but he's gravel vacking, same way we do our aquarium. So I just thought that was super neat. It's like, look, he's doing just a normal gravel vac, but he's got some nicer equipment, of course. But I kind of wanted to focus on this a little bit. So he's just moving the rocks around, just sucking up the substrate, just keeping it clean in there. So I'm kind of interested. They also have this thing you can do. I think it's $10 or $15. Don't quote me on that. Where you can see their mechanical room. They'll take you for a tour of their pumps and their water systems. And I wish I would have had time to do that here, but I didn't. So you can see kind of the scale of this Tanganyikan tank. And there's another scuba diver up there, and he's basically got a toothbrush, and he's just cleaning the wood, making sure everything doesn't have any algae buildup, looks good. And you can see the fish do not seem to mind. There's a bunch of beautiful Cyprichromis flashing. I'm sure they breed in there. So here's another display tank. This was really cool. You could walk around the entire exhibit, and then the kids can go in this tube bubble type thing, get their picture taken. But massive fish here. So these are all probably 20-inch. I don't know if those are white fish. This is more of a North American tank, I believe. I think most of these fish are native to North America. They look like suckers, and it looks like some black crappie and maybe some other panfish in there. Maybe some different types of bass. So yeah, this is just me explaining. I thought I was just going to do a standard, I'm going to talk while I show you some of these things. I was pretty excited about this next tank that I'm seeing here. So just check out this rainbow fish display tank. It is just gorgeous in my mind. So right here, you can see the pothos growing out of the back of it. They have very strong can lighting. I don't have any lights like that. I think Kessel makes a brand similar. They might even be Kessel's, I'm not sure. But just beautiful. And then I got distracted. I looked up and I said, holy cow, there's fish all around me. And look at the size of that sturgeon just going for a cruise. So that's one aspect of this that I just really thought was amazing, is you have kids looking up, you have kids staring at the rainbow fish, you're going to see piranhas here in a second, and they're all just so excited about what they're seeing. They're discovering something new everywhere they look. And just super well done for the freshwater side here. And look at the beauty of some of these rainbow fish, some of these turquoise, bosemani, red rainbow fish. I don't know all. I'm not super versed in rainbow fish. I just think they're gorgeous. I think they're up there as beautiful as discus, in my honest opinion, but probably a lot easier to keep. So you can see some Siamese algae eaters. You can see they have a lot of flow going through this tank. They must have a couple pump heads. You can see it kind of blowing, I believe, Java moss around. And then I wanted to show off the substrate here, and it's nothing special. It's just your standard aquarium gravel. I don't know if they're doing CO2 for this tank. I wish I would have paid closer attention. I would imagine maybe they are, to get those kind of carpeted plants. So this here, again, everywhere you look, there's fish above you. There's gar pike. And then if you look through the glass there, that's actually where they keep the penguins. So we had to take a trip up there to see the penguins after the penguin show. So super neat, very natural looking tank we're about to see here. So I imagine this is an Amazon type tank. It's got the archer fish. So this tank's just super beautiful, really well lit. The colors are amazing. And I imagine that they probably feed this crickets and some different insects, and the archer fish can kind of hunt the crickets because half of the display has water and half of it is not. So, and then as you walk around, there's more tanks. I just quickly got a little bit of video of these. I believe they're snapping turtles. I'm not 100% sure. But they weren't doing a whole lot, but they do look cool, prehistoric. And their tank is very well maintained. And look at these red belly piranhas. They're just huge. Every single one of them was probably the size of a large dinner plate, if not bigger. The camera really doesn't do them justice. And they're just schooling, really well behaved. You don't see too many bite marks out of the fins. Here and there, I'm sure they take a nip at each other, but mostly they're just schooling and swimming in circles, and this was a huge display tank. So I asked my son to go stand by it, and there's my wife pushing him closer to it, and he's like scared of the piranhas, so I thought that was pretty funny. So he's probably going to be embarrassed of that for years. I wanted to get kind of a display reference on how big the piranhas were compared to him, but he didn't get too close there. So right next to it here, beautiful discus tank. So these aren't wild discus. These would be more of like your Marlboro. They're not Marlboro Reds. I don't know exactly the color patterns on these. They had a few different types though. They looked super healthy, looked really nice, and kind of reminded me of the way the king of DIY, Joey, he did his discus tank. I remember watching, I don't know, last year, a couple of years ago. So they had a lot of driftwood in this tank, and the discus really weren't that skittish like discus are known to be. So here we left the freshwater exhibit and we made our way down to this little common area where they brought out the penguins. So there's my son in front. He was super excited to see the penguins, and they just kind of brought them out, showed them to everybody. Penguins got some exercise. So it was kind of neat. Real quick show. There was a guy in a microphone talking about each penguin, if they were a rescue, where they came from, what's unique about them, what their favorite things to do are. Each penguin has its own personality, just like our fish have. Every fish has a unique personality. So there they go. There goes the penguins. So this is just going into another exhibit. I believe this is the cold water exhibit area. Yep, cold water. So, I mean, look at the size of these crabs. They're a Japanese type crab. I think I'm going to pan up to what they are here in a second. But the camera doesn't do these things justice. They are just ginormous. And, yeah, ginormous isn't a word. But, yeah, they're just really cool. The kids really liked seeing how big those Japanese spider crabs and spotted ratfish. So this was just a really nice tank. So if you guys and gals have made it this far, I just want to say thank you. The best is still to come. The biggest aquariums, best aquariums. And I'd just like to take the moment to ask you if you could like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. At the time I'm posting this video, the channel just hit 200 subscribers. So hopefully, if you're watching this in the future, that number is going to be way bigger and the channel's continue to grow. But enough about that. These are the beluga whales. Really neat. Another massive aquarium. And that kid's getting his picture taken. He's smiling for the camera, which is really neat. I mean, it's kind of loud. It's peaceful just watching this right here, but there's people talking, kids yelling and screaming the whole time, which means they're having fun. So this is definitely, the kids were the most excited about everything at this Georgia aquarium. So really neat animal, a lot like a dolphin. They were playing, rubbing on rocks, and yeah, just really neat. And we were standing here, again, my kids have their hands on the glass, but we were just standing here with my wife's cousins, great people, and just got to chat and really enjoy these beluga whales. So look how long they are. I didn't realize that they were that long. So yeah, just a couple pictures here. And right here I decided to cut over. This is the only footage I have of the actual dolphin show. So pretty soon the lights will go out and the big show begins there. And then on the left and right hand side, so this was less than a year ago, so they probably have a lot of the very same exhibits. The Dolphin Celebration, Cold Water Quest, River Scout, Pier 225 with the sea lions, Ocean Voyager. So that's still coming up. That was the most impressive tank display. You get to walk through a big glass tunnel. I won't spoil it, but what you're seeing right here are my wife's favorite. These are the sea dragons, I believe they are. And the camera didn't really do those justice, but what a weird creature those are. So then we made our way upstairs. We were kind of waiting for the next show to begin. So we got to see the penguins a little bit. And this is, when you first walk in, you get a few glimpses into this Ocean Voyager exhibit. And just super neat, just incredibly massive. These are some of the small manta rays that are swimming around. There's much bigger ones. And just really neat. So unfortunately I was recording with the camera turned vertically. So that's why I'm putting the map of the layout so you can kind of see when you walk in. You can branch off to the different exhibits on the map. But there was always scuba divers in there doing general maintenance, cleaning, just making sure it's the most pristine environment for these fish. And so many neat fish. It was just really cool. Bunch of sharks swimming around. So it's almost like the scuba divers who do the maintenance on the tank are just part of the exhibit. They're just kind of almost live in there. There's always a scuba diver in there with all these fish. Stingray right there. A lot of sharks. But again, when all the fish get fed really nicely, I doubt these sharks even think of their fish. They probably think of them as friends, not food. They don't even really consider it, I bet. So they have some giant groupers in there. I don't know if those are Goliath groupers. And then these caught my eye. I don't know if these are tuna or amberjack. I'm not very well versed in the salt water. Just massive schools. So yeah, you can catch a glimpse of the giant manta rays swimming in the background here. And I should probably fast forward through this a little bit, but it was just so neat. There's some different sharks swimming towards us. It's super healthy. I could have sat here and watched this for hours, honestly. the camera really doesn't do this justice, but in the background there's a couple. So coming up next is the part of the exhibit that was the most breathtaking for me. Basically, it's going to be this giant glass tunnel here in a second, and you're just surrounded by fish on all sides. The glass tunnel's probably, I don't know, 12 foot tall in the middle, and there's still probably another 20 or 30 foot above the glass ceiling to the top of the water that the fish are swimming in. So they don't even care. They just swim right around it. Some of them come up and say hi, like this guy, and just really neat. So I don't know very many of these saltwater type fish, but I think there's a lot of schools of hogfish, I believe they are, or pigfish. I think that's the common name for them in Florida, because I know I caught a couple of them. They're more of the yellowfish. Not quite sure what these ones are. Some pretty neat, very plump white fish. And yeah, they must have found some food down there or something, but this was just amazing because everywhere you looked, there was different fish on all sides. So this just happened to be where the line stopped and I was located at the time, but right overhead, giant manta ray swims over, bunch of little manta rays. So yeah, I was probably wrong. It's probably more like 40 foot above the top of this glass dome. And then there's my wife and daughter waving at one of the scuba divers. And that was really neat. He's coming in to check things out, do some maintenance. What a neat job. And a manta ray's doing a backflip in the background. So I didn't know what to record. I was just trying to capture as much as possible. So, I mean, just fish everywhere. And next time I go, I definitely have to check out their mechanical filtration water supply room, because I bet it is very impressive. Just imagine the amount of chemicals, salt and alkalinity and all the buffers and just the amount of food they have to feed these massive fish. I mean, the sharks alone probably eat a ton a ton of freshwater or saltwater fish fillets. So look at this. I mean, so this is the same exhibit, but you walk through that tunnel and then you come out to a viewing area, and it's just massive. Manta rays doing backflips, and it's just breathtaking. And then the size of these whale sharks, a couple times they swam by, and I mean, they're bigger than semi-trucks. Just check out the fish that are using the whale sharks to, just school underneath and exhibit their actual nature behavior. I could envision, a group of fish, maybe not those fish, swimming underneath a whale shark like that. So, and then these giant groupers and tunas and amberjacks, and just super impressive. And they had seats that you could sit on back here, and just the atmosphere was something I've never experienced before, and I highly recommend it to anybody. You don't even have to enjoy fish, just the atmosphere of this place is really impressive, just very captivating. And the kids, they didn't know where to look, and they're just jaws dropped the whole time, just enjoying themselves. So, and again, the camera doesn't even scratch the surface of how beautiful this is. The camera's picking up all these blues, and it's not getting true color, and when you're there in person, it is impressive. So yeah, I got up a little bit closer. I walked a little closer to the tank to be around the kids and point some things out to them. So yeah, huge whale sharks. So I believe this was the most impressive part of the whole exhibit. And this was one of the last things that we ended up doing. And then at the very end, I just did a really quick walkthrough because things were getting really busy. I wanted to see River Scout again, which was the freshwater piece that I saw at the very beginning. And I just wanted to get a little bit more video footage because I thought some of these displays in River Scout were just so cool. So you can see how much busier it is. I'm having a hard time holding a camera and walking through the crowds and not making a nuisance of myself. So this will give you a better idea of how the displays are arranged because I didn't turn the camera off in between. But the video is almost over, so I only looked at one more tank after this, but this is the Tanganyikan tank. And Tropheocycola, Frontosas, the Lupis, probably 10 plus species, if not more, in this tank. And many of each species. It looked like some Synodontis, Petricola catfish, or some type of Tanganyikan catfish. And there was a Calvus that just swam by. So the video's coming to an end, so I just want to take the time to thank you for watching, and hopefully my subscriber level is way higher if you're watching this in the future, or if you're watching this when it's first posted. I greatly appreciate it. So yeah, a lot of great future plans and many more videos to come. I'll put a link to one of my fish room tour videos where I have over 90 aquariums at the time of this recording, so who knows what it'll be later on. And just really enjoy all species of fish. Haven't dabbled in saltwater yet, but maybe someday. So check out some of the freshwater fish in the videos linked above, and really cool videos planned for the future. Recorded a ton of footage to document the salmon in the classroom at my local school. So thanks again for watching. Thanks for all your support, and stay healthy.